Oh yeah, baby! It's Sunset Overdrive!
Want to use a propane tank, a firework, or a vinyl disc in close quarters combat? Sunset Overdrive. You want to see what would happen if Peter Parker was from Chicago rather than New York and had a diet consisting of nothing but Monster Energy drinks? Sunset Overdrive. You want to overdose on fever meds, get covered in leeches, and then trip balls?
It rubs the lotion on its skin. Put the lotion in the basket!
Sunset Overdrive. I'm going to show you why this game is the bangiest banger to ever banger in the history of bangers. So, without further ado, let's talk about Sunset Overdrive. I mean, what the fuck else did you think I was going to talk about? God, Sunset Overdrive. I have a long and extensive history with this game, which I would tell you myself, but I got a spare $30 or pounds, whatever, and I'm going to blow it on some useless shit for $5. So enjoy this guy telling you about me instead of me telling you about me, about my experience with Sunset Overdrive. That was a tongue twister and a fucking half.
'Twas the year of 2014, when our lad George was still but a tween. It was the month of October as he sat on the sofa and saw something on the TV. On it games that would be all the commotion, and on that list of games COD AW, Dragon's Age Inquisition, Watch Dogs, and the biggest of the big GTA 5. One game caught our little lad's eyes, and if he didn't get it for Christmas he would shrivel up and die. That game, Sunset Overdrive. For the next 2 months he begged and pleaded for the game on Christmas Day. He told his mum if he got it he'd be gay. And on that faithful holiday he headed downstairs with all his family, and among all the gifts he opened that cheerful morning, one made him go hip hip hooray. It was the Sunset Drive Xbox console bundle, and George peeked. He knew any other gift he got for Christmas was just neek. And so he played the game, that he did, and all the joy it did bring. He played and played and played some more, until all he could do was snore. But after a month of playing he'd meet the level that would bring him to the floor. It was simple, just cook some pigeons, nothing more. Hard as he tried, he couldn't do it. There's nothing really to rhyme with that, so I'll just move on to the next sentence. He vowed he'd beat the level, but that day never came. Eventually he succumbed to the games that the other kids played, Minecraft, Call of Duty, and the worst of the worst, GTA 5. Eventually he completely forgot about Sunset Overdrive. His memories adrift until the devil's year hit us, that is, 2020. A year we should all remember. Nobody, no place, no month was safe, even the wholesome December. But it was during that December he'd receive a well-used Xbox. And well, nothing really rhymes with Xbox, so I kind of worked myself into a corner here. But on his console was a game he held quite dear. It was Sunset Overdrive in all its might, and he beat the game in just a night. And after that he'd play the game again and again, with all the cosmetic, collectibles and weapons to show. How many times he beat the game he didn't quite know. And then he got the game on Steam, with Quantum Break and Recall during a sale. The end.
So I guess we should probably start off with the story. That's where most things start. The year is 2027, which is only 4 years away. God damn, remember that seemed like it was a lifetime away? Jesus Christ. Generic big tech company number 227, Fizco, which I'm guessing for all intents and purposes might as well just be Apple but with even less morals and personality than it already had, has released an energy drink called Overcharge. And our saying for this game, Sunset City, has gotten the chance to try it a few weeks early. How good. How nice of them. But oh no, turns out the energy drink actually turns people into bloodthirsty mutants. Somehow, I'm not even going to question it. And Fizco has locked down the entire city. You play as the player. Yes, that's what they're called. Subtitles even say it themselves. Who prior to this was just a janitor living in a crappy apartment that gets roped into helping Walter and his friend Floyd into finding a way out of the city. Along the way, he meets Sam and the Oxfords, a bunch of rich grad students. Walter dies after the plane they're escaping hits a literal invisible wall, by the way. You meet Troop Bushido, who are what would happen if we actually went outside. You meet the Fogarthians, who were LARPers before Sunset City went to crap, who I would joke about, but I think most of the jokes write themselves, considering, you know, they're LARPers. You escape the city via boat, but then character development happens and you decide to go back. You find out Fizco got a 30-player kill streak and gonna fuck the city up. You meet the Las Katrinas, try to convince them to help you invade Fizco. They kick your ass, you eventually get them to like you. You invade Fizco HQ, you die but not really. Bim bada boom, the game ends. Now, for the uninformed, I know that sounds like the schizophrenic kid trying to tell you what he ate for dinner last night, but I don't want to devote a 10-minute segment to describing this game's lore, when not even the game really cares about it. And it's not like they couldn't write a half-decent story. The developers of this game, Insomniac Games, which I'm guessing you've heard of, have made some bangers. And just in case you don't know who they are, and or you don't believe me, the original Spyro the Dragon trilogy, basically every Ratchet & Clank game, the 2 Spider-Man games and Spider-Man 2, the Resistance Fall of Man trilogy, and they're making that Wolverine game that looks half decent, as well as a bunch of other games that also look pretty good. Trust me, Insomniac know their shit. It's not like they could not make a good story, or at least a surfaceable one, they just chose not to. This game's story, put that in air quotes, is basically just a bunch of crackhead Saturday morning cartoon episodes strung together that barely follows a competent narrative, and I mean that in the most respectful way possible, by the way. One minute you're cleaning out a huge waste facility and risking your life for some exotic bottled water, then the next you're using a crane to smash the shit out of Smody, then you fight a blimp, then a dragon, you claim the souls of 150 robots, you throw a rock concert for some sick kids while fighting off hordes of enemies. This game has it all. Not every game needs a large essay's worth of lore to understand fully. You need like a 20 to 40 minute YouTube video. I'm being sarcastic, obviously. These videos are supposed to be at least somewhat entertaining, but story definitely wasn't a top priority. Tone, however, was definitely something they put a lot more effort into. Tone. This game has a lot of it. This game is very self-aware, it's a video game and is hip with the kids and all that jazz. And unlike most games, say Undertale or Hotline Miami 2, which vaguely hint towards the fourth wall, Sunset Overdrive is just like, fuck that shit. Jumps in on a skateboard, made out of testosterone and badass. I don't even know what that will look like, but that's what I wrote down in the script, because I'm probably writing that shit at like 1 AM. That was a 12-pack of Monster Energy, and headbutts the fourth wall into a million little bite-sized pieces. You probably wouldn't want to eat it, but still. The game does this all the time, and I've never seen a game do something like this, or at least a AAA one. Sure, a lot of indie games do it, but most of the time it's just the whole, oh, look at me, I'm meta, oh, look at me, I know I'm a game, ooh, ooh, ooh. And it's just meta for the sake of being meta. But this game actually does that whole meta thing well. God, meta is really hard to say that many times. It constantly points out its game logic and occasionally bends the rules of the game for a joke or something like that. Albeit it's not perfect, it's fucking far from perfect. But there are a few times where it's like, yes, I get it, you is game, shut the fuck up. But for every one bad joke, there are another 5, 10 to make up for it. In my opinion, at least. Comedy is subjective, but I liked it. Unlike most games that treat the fourth wall like toilet paper, this one doesn't just have the joke of, hey, look at me, I'm game. Yeah, it's game. But it talks to you how a person who plays video games would. And the player, as in the character, because he's also called the player, that's not fucking confusing. He talks to you how an old friend would. I guess that's like the best comparison I can make. It's a style I have never seen imitate before, and mad props to the voice actors, by the way, who both of them are like 40 something, so like they actually really nailed it, by the way. And as for those jokes, like I said, there are a few where it's just haha, I'm video game funny. And there are also a lot of jokes that's like, lol guys, random equals funny, random, so funny, haha, I'm so random, like it's fucking 2008 or some shit. But there are also a lot of funny jokes. Jokes that are usually used to explain the game logic or take the piss out of it. Like when your character decides to find a sword for the sexy Mexican cheerleader assassins, yes, that's a word I just said. You don't just find the sword, no, we don't do that pussy shit. You don't just find the sword after killing some robots. You find out the person you were going to steal the sword from left, leaving every other possession they had except for the sword. Then you decide to say, fuck it, make your own nuclear sword that was imbued with the power of the sun or some shit. This game does that all the time, and it's great. And even when it's not done for gameplay purposes and just for comedy, I still think it's pretty funny. My favourite scene is when Falcon gets out of the train.
Brill cream is in a garbage truck, but they didn't know where.
Truck, huh? The whole garbage system is automated. The trucks are equipped with GPS transmitters. If you come back to our base, I might be able to figure out a way to track it down.
Okay, cool. I'm on my way. Wait, how do we communicate with Sam when neither of us is holding a phone?
You know, technology.
I also love the aesthetic of this game. Sunset City feels like Metropolis or Gotham, but somebody actually left a 2000 punk rock filter over it. It's colourful, it's filled to the brim with details, and has some amazing store names, by the way. There's graffiti everywhere, and the collectibles actually fit the theme. You're not collecting like shiny MacGuffins or some shit, you're collecting shoes, toilet paper, neon signs, balloons, fizzy balloons to be exact, security cameras. It's bright, it's colourful, it's probably one of my favourite fictional cities of all time. The UI and menu elements are also on par with the theme. Everything looks like shit I doodled in high school, and it even has its own font, by the way. That's like one of the few games I know that do that. Like, it has its own like unique Sunset Overdrive font. The characters are also a big highlight. Sure, there are the main ones like the player, Floyd, Walter, and Sam, but even the small characters that are maybe in one, maybe two missions tops, I really enjoyed. My boy Hobo Reggie's in this game, and Reggie is best man. Are they all basically one-note cliches?
Yeah.
Do they have even surface level depth?
No.
Are they funny, entertaining, and memorable? Maybe. I love them, but at the same time I'm a main Wii Fit trainer in Smash Bros, so my opinion on things isn't exactly what you call a reliable source. I at least thought every character was likable, excluding one. God, the Las Katrinas are so bad. I say the Las Katrinas, I more mean Esperanza. Really hope I'm saying that right, I'm probably not. Esperanza is bad, and it's not because she's Mexican. I like all foreigners, except for the French. Fuck the French. The first introduction is kinda cool, until you realize it doesn't make any fucking sense. And I get that this game constantly points out that shit doesn't make sense, but seriously, why do the Las Katrinas just attack you? Like, you could say, oh, maybe they think you're a scab, but that doesn't add up, since you have no mannerisms of a scab, you're not in a group, you're not waving your gun everywhere, you're not making threats, you're not a douchebag in a hoodie. At least, my character wasn't. And if they did think you're a scab, wouldn't they just kill you, like, on the spot right there? They might think that you're gonna take their shit, but couldn't they just tell you, like, not to do that politely instead of fucking kicking your teeth out? Like, I don't think a single guy or girl would try and take medicine away from some sick kids, or Mexican cheerleader assassins, or both. So they just attack you for no real reason, and then instead of apologizing for being a random bystander, they just threaten you more. Even after your character tells them that they need their help, or everyone fucking dies, like they make up some vague excuse about how they don't want to leave the kids that they look after behind. But dickheads, if the city gets destroyed, then there are no kids to look after, or anything for that matter. Then after that, they just continue to be pointlessly hostile and aggressive, and the only time it's really deserved is when your character almost barbecues a kid. I'll give her that. That punch was probably deserved. But besides that, why are they just so needlessly stubborn and aggressive? And then, get this. The thing that turns them to your side is by throwing a 3-minute rock concert for the kids. That's it. And it turns out the kids only had tonsillitis, not even cancer, like they fucking made it look like they had. After that, they want to get to know you, suck your dick, marry you to death do us part, and all that shit. On top of that, Esperanza, probably saying that wrong still, is the only Lost Katrina of note. It's not like Troop Bushido, that has Forkim, or the Fargarthians with Wendy and Hardcore. They feel so rushed, since their characters aren't memorable, their jokes aren't funny, even if the missions are still fun. Hell, really fun. Like, the Excalibur quest is something that you do with them, and God, I love that quest. But I hate the Lost Katrinas. They feel so rushed despite the fact they're teased near the start of the game. Yeah, they're the only real faction that get teased. The others you just kind of stumble across, or you get told like one mission before you meet them. But the Lost Katrinas have little bits of dialogue and murals throughout the game. But despite that, they feel like paper in a game filled with people that feel like paper. So like paper, so sugar paper, or something like that. I don't know, this was a really weird analogy. Besides the Lost Katrinas and the bitch there's Esperanza, the rest of the characters and factions were great. I loved Wendy, I loved Floyd, Reggie is best man, but we all knew that already. Like, I thought the characters were great. Again, except for the Las Katrinas. I'm making that abundantly clear. Fuck the Las Katrinas. Hashtag fuck Esperanza. I don't know. And, oh my god, the music. How could I not mention the music? It would be fucking blasphemy if I did not mention this game's soundtrack. It's definitely not for everyone, and that's alright. It's okay to be wrong every now and then. This game's soundtrack is like a punk rock enthusiast's dream. It's filled with punk rock. I don't know how I'm supposed to finish that sentence. I kind of wrote myself into a corner there. It's got some banger beats, banger solos, and I don't think there's a bad song. I wouldn't say there is, at least. But if you want the definitive and objective best, it's more action and different answers. On top of that, it's reactive. As you start out, there's no music, but the moment you start moving and killing, that baby amps the fuck up. And when you're in the zone, it's blasting down your eardrums full blast. To all the people who worked on this game's soundtrack, mad props. Also, fun fact, because you guys totally care about my personal life, this game single-handedly got me listening to Fiddler, Fuck It Dog, Life's a Risk. I know that's not relevant to anything, but I don't know, just some bone mouth lore for you guys. I don't know, I thought it was kind of cool. This game has an amazing tone, aesthetic, it's colorful, it's violent, it's funny, it's fun, it's memorable, it's Sunset Overdrive, bitch, and by god you will remember its name. So anyway, how does the game play? Now, I've been going on a lot about this game's charm and personality, but does it have the gameplay to match? And to those who thought it was a genuine question, here's the door, you fucking nerd. Sunset Overdrive is some of the most fun I've ever had playing a game. And if you force me to explain it in 10 words or less, I'll call it Tony Hawk's Ultra Kill Eternal meets The Floor is Lava. Yes, I'm counting Ultra Kill as one word. And when I say that, you might be expecting the best game of all time. And I wouldn't go that far. This is 2014 and an Xbox One launch title we're talking about here. But if you've played those, you definitely know what I'm talking about. The bread and butter of Sunset Overdrive is its movement, which is where the Tony Hawk Pro Scare analogy comes from. I guess Spider-Man would also work, but Spider-Man Ultra Kill Eternal meets The Floor is Lava doesn't roll off the tongue as well. So, I don't know, cope. In Sunset Overdrive, anything and everything can be used to move around. Grind on power lines and underground on power lines. I think I hit my mic there, fuck. You can grind on roofs and rails. You can bounce on basically anything. Air vents, air ducts, cars, bushes, basically anything that isn't just the ground. You can wall run, you can do the monkey bars, you can dive bomb, you can water surf. It can all be used to traverse the map and the battlefield. It's not only sleek, but it's also pretty fun. It's like how in Spider-Man, despite the fact you are given the option to fast travel, let's be honest, you'll probably never use it because the movement is just that fun. Like, seriously. For 2014 and an Xbox One release title, I'm surprised the movement is still this good nearly 10 years later. Jesus Christ, it's been too long since this game came out, bro. I remember when I still played with fucking Hot Wheels, Jesus. You also have access to a few special abilities that are like a cherry on top of this movement sundae. You can jump instantly after undergrinding to do what I'm guessing is called the super undergrind jump. I don't know. Sounds like a Tony Hawk move. To gain a huge height boost, you can jump as soon as you bounce on something to do a super bounce, and that also gets you some pretty good height. You can ground pound, and then later on in the game, you can jump right after ground pounding to do some fucking Super Mario super jump, Mario World shit, and that's just maximum height right there. And finally, there's the air dash, which might as well be a sundae of its own. Fuck just being a cherry. I love the air dash, some Mega Man X shit. The air dash turns the movement in this game from fun to ultra super mega banging. It's like Mega Man not having a charge shot of the slide. Sure, the games are fun and playable, but without it, you're missing the jam from your PB sandwich. It's just not right. I'm looking at you, Mega Man 9 and 10, you fucking suck. It's proof that any game is at least 5% better with an air dash. I'm looking at Doom Eternal here, that's like my main example here. One of the things you're going to be using that movement for is collecting shit. You collect a lot of shit in this game. Money is used for clothes, overcharge is used for weapons and maps. You earn both from just kind of playing the game, killing enemies and busting up crates. The map is also jotted with those collectibles I was mentioning earlier. Fizzy balloons are just chilling in the air, shoes are on grime rails, toilet paper is on monkey bars, neon signs and cameras are on walls. You use them to buy amps, which I'll get to in a minute. but the map is littered with this shit. There are collectibles on like every metric square of the map. You also use that movement for the actual combat, which is where the Ultra Kill and Doom Eternal parts of that Tony Hawk's whatever meets Floor is Lava, whatever comes in. In Sunset Overdrive, speed is life. Speed is good. You need speed or you die. You gotta keep moving is what I mean, and remember how I said this game has all the tools available to keep you moving? The map is also well designed for this, with bounces, grinds, and other things at every twist and turn. It doesn't make any sense architecturally, like, I don't think a city is designed like that, but you know, I'm not complaining. You basically never have to touch the ground, and even if you do, you can still roll, and you don't want to touch the ground because, well, remember how I said in this game, this is blah 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 meets the floor is lava? Technically it isn't, except for when it is, but it might as well be. Russia enemies can easily catch up with you since your character doesn't think to do anything other than a brisk jog while on the ground. Hordes of enemies can quickly overrun. Am I fucking Scooby? Overwhelm? Oh, what Raggy? Overwhelming me. What Raggy? Hordes of enemies can quickly overwhelm you, and ranged enemies basically just have aimbot the moment you hit the ground. Even though I guess they technically do since they're AI, but that's besides the point. The moment you start moving, the enemies can't really do that, and they basically just become fodder. And I guess I might as well explain enemies and guns now that I have an easy segue into it. Firstly, let's talk about those guns. You have a lot of them, and they're all pretty practical. The Dirty Harry deals huge single target damage, basically one-shotting anything excluding bosses and robots. Flaming Compensator and its superior older brother, the Hottie Shotty, are good close range weapons and can easily make space. The High Fidelity, the Dude, the Roman Candle, and the AKF-off are assault rifle type weapons, and are good for dealing with small groups of enemies. There are explosive weapons including that propane launcher, unfortunately it does not come with propane accessories. The Murderang and the electricity weapons are good for killing robots. You have deployable weapons that can distract, deal damage or the night areas. You have a small militia's worth of weapons, and basically all of them have a use except for the Plague Bomb. Seriously, who gives a shit? However, you can only have 8 at once, so choose your murder accessories wisely. Also, I know I'm still gushing over this game's aesthetic and all that, but look at these weapons. It's like Super Smash Bros, but with guns. So, American Super Smash Bros. Every gun is so colorful and it has so much personality. American Super Smash Bros. I don't know why that was the joke I went with. I probably could have made a better joke. Fuck. The enemies are also pretty good. They're split up into 3 factions. The OD, a bunch of zombie rejects that work on a horde mentality. One OD is a piss take, 50 rip you into a million bite-sized pieces. The scabs are a bunch of assholes in hoodies that are just the generic raider that every post-apocalyptic game needs to fill a criteria. Normally I'll be the sarcastic asshole, but even the game points out, so I don't know what to tell you. Finally, there are the robots, which are really strong, but usually only come in groups of 5 at most of the time. I already talked about the Russia and ranged enemies, but it's not quite that simple. We don't do simple here in Sunset Overdrive. You have utility enemies, mainly scout tossers and gunkers, which can block grind areas, meaning you either have to destroy what they're using to block it with, or just outright move. You have muggers and wingers, which are airborne enemies that force you to focus them, otherwise they will wombo combo you with other enemies. And finally, you got the big boys, Herkers, Spawners, and Tank Bots, which are big, and maybe boys? I'm not sure. The OD are meant to be genderless, I'm pretty sure, and it's a robot, which you can't really give a shit. They're big, they hit hard, they have area to know, and they can take some serious punishment. Every enemy has their own gimmick, and every faction has their strengths and weaknesses. For instance, bullet weapons, the Dirty Harry, the shotguns, and the AKs, are good against all enemies, but especially potent against scabs, reliably 2 to 3 shotting any scab. It's not Doom Eternal or Ultra Kill levels of enemy design, or not even close, but it's still pretty good for a 9, nearly 10-year-old game. And again, I must gush. I love the enemy design, especially with the OD. They start off as this just generic zombie mutant looking thing, but the design gets played around with a lot. Poppers have these gross giant ballistas, Herkers have a crane arm for an arm, Spawners have a dumpster grafted to their back, Wingers use this kind of banner looking thing as their wings. It's great. It feels like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have met Resident Evil. I don't know why that's like the first thing I thought of, but yeah, it just gives me that vibe. The bosses also do not intend to disappoint. In the main game, you fight 4 bosses, which isn't that many, but most of them are really good. The ones that are good, I'm not going to mention, since I want to keep them a surprise just in case you haven't played this game, but there is one boss that is just kind of shit, and it's the final boss. I doubt you care, but just in case you do, here's a timestamp. There's not really much to spoil. This game doesn't really care about its own lore, but just in case you don't want the ending spoiled, yeah, there's a timestamp right now. Skip to that part if you really don't want to get the final boss spoiled. Alright, anyway, yeah, let's move on. So the final boss is a building, and I really want to like it, but I just can't. It sounds like a fun idea, like kind of scaling up a building, like shooting at it, like something like that. And the other bosses are pretty stupid too. It's not the idea of the boss I hate, it's the fight. The whole fight is just making your way towards it while it fires very easy to dodge energy beams, climbing it, and then shooting the power core. Rinse, repeat, I don't know how many times, I think it's 3, I lost track. It's a boring, slow-paced boss, and it doesn't feel like final boss material. It's funny, because it talks. Some of the jokes it says are actually pretty funny, but the other bosses are funny. The building isn't challenging or fast-paced, it's easy, and it feels like the game just did a huge phase plan at the very last step. It's not a bad boss, but in a game that has some of the best bosses I've seen, it's just a really disappointing finish. It's like if every boss in an Arkham game, Arkham Batman obviously, was Mr. Freeze, but then the final boss was that shitty Titan Joker fight or something like that. I say that like I've ever played an Arkham game before. But no, the building is a really disappointing final boss. Finally, there's Style, which is that bar you've been seeing in the top right corner of the screen the whole time. And, well, Style is basically just the badass gauge. You play well, and Style goes up. You're a little poopy pants virgin boy, and it goes down. As for what Style actually does, you know what, I think I'll let Mr. Announcer Man explain it. I think he can do a much better job than me.
This is the Style Meter. It's your best friend. Use traversal combinations to build your Style Meter. Bounce, grind, and swing. Stay on the move. Killing enemies while grinding, bouncing, and doing acrobatics also creates style. You now have a melee air and an epic air. I'm gonna give you one last treat. Here's 60 seconds of batshit crazy style! First one's free. They're coming from the other ramp.
As for what an amp is, well, it's basically a perk. Like, it's just a hipster version of a perk, pretty much. You just have to earn the perk. And you get amps from completing night defenses, and you can also buy them, but who cares? You mostly just get them from night defenses, because I don't think people actually go out of their way to get the collectibles most of the time. And on the topic of night defenses, I guess we should talk about the other gameplay styles this game has. So besides the normal fighting, this game also has a bunch of unique gameplay styles. You have main missions and side missions, which is usually just some variation of go here, kill shit, or go here, collect shit. But even the main missions and side missions have some slight variation on the gameplay styles. Occasionally you have to carry stuff, be it war or people, which disables any kind of offensive abilities, meaning that the only thing you can do is traverse. There's Boo Boo, which is something you use twice and it's awesome. You fire a teddy bear and anything near the general area of that bear gets its atomic structure changed into a fine meat paste. You have the glider, which just kind of exists. It's slow, it's clunky, it's boring, it's the one real gameplay change I didn't really like. And you have the crane section, which is literally just a 2-minute bit, but I liked it too much and I'm gonna mention it anyway. Fuck you. On top of that, there's like times where the gameplay like kinda changes. Like there's this bit where you have to throw trash into a boat and like stay in there. It's basically just an escort mission, but not bad. You have Red the Pirate, where you launch cannons. You have to defend people sometimes. Like, there is a lot you can do in this game. Like it's ridiculous. Finally, there are challenges, which are jarred around the map and come in a few forms. You have the night defense, definitely the most fleshed out one. You're forced to defend Overcharge Vash from Hordes of OD, and it's basically just a tower defense if it was actually good and fun. Seriously, how do people like tower defense games that aren't PvZ or Balloons tower defense? Like, you set up traps and maneuver around your base to deal with Hordes of OD, and it's pretty fun. You even have to do it a few times in the main story, and honestly, I don't mind. It's good for slowing down the pace, and the soundtrack is blasting the whole time, which is just a bonus. Besides that, there are time trials, which is just some variation of smashing shit, running through shit, or collecting shit within a small time limit. And the hang glider. of all the small things to bring back, the crane, Boo Boo, the Skyline Moon quest, I've intentionally mentioned as little as possible to avoid spoilers, so that mission alone makes this game worth the price. Why the hang glider? Like, the missions are just the definition of like a nothing burger. You literally just fly around and blast mines, that's it, like... What? Why the hang glider? Besides the really questionable decision to bring back the hang glider, of all things, the challenges are fun and just add a little bit extra to this already great game. There are even secret collectibles on top of the normal collectibles and the challenges. Like, seriously, there's so much shit you can do in this game, it's unreal. The only overall complaint I have is this game, it's really easy. Like, even as a kid, I thought this game wasn't very hard, and I couldn't be Little Big Planet for fuck's sake. It doesn't take away from the experience, but I just thought that, you know, besides a few challenges, this game isn't going to push you, like, not even close, and there's no difficulty select either, so it's just a smooth ride the whole way. It doesn't personally take away anything from me, because I'm a literal fucking ape, but just in case you were looking for a hard game, this is not it. I mean, I don't know why you would expect a hard game from a game called Sunset Overdrive about a game that turns energy drinks into fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle rejects, but I don't know, just thought I'd let you know. Alright, before we conclude the video, we should probably cover the DLC as well, because I'm gonna guess most people didn't know that existed. Even people who've played the game, I'm probably gonna guess not even they knew it existed. So, yeah. This game got 2 pieces of the post-launch DLC, which I'm guessing all of 6 people knew about. And these aren't like little small, like little DLCs either. These are like actually pretty decent. They had like new parts of the map and everything. The 2 pieces of the DLC were The Mystery of the Moo Oil Rig and Dawn of the Rise of the Fallen Machines. So, shall we give it a quick overview real quick? Moo Oil Rig is shit. It starts out with the hang glider. I'm not even trying to piss on the hang glider, but why? Why of all the gameplay styles to bring back, do you bring back the hang glider? Who the fuck likes the hang glider? The story is some shit about getting Brooklyn's sister. I don't know, I just kind of fell off during this section. The map's nice looking, but it doesn't have the same personality of Sunset City. The map's also kind of a pain in the ass to traverse through, and the enemies are just reskins. Even the final boss is just some generic sea monster. The only good quest was the Psycho reference. Yes, I know it's a Psycho reference. You don't have to beat me over the head with it. Like, they make some joke, oh, most people won't even know what that is. Bro, I know what Psycho is. Fuck's sake. Overall, it's just one colossal meh. Like, it's still Sunset Overdrive. I enjoyed it. But it's not really anything to write home about. The blah 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 whatever who cares of the machines, however, is actually a pretty big improvement. The map actually feels like an extension of Sunset Sea, and it's divided into sections with unique personality. The side quests and weapons were fun, and most of the enemies we got were reskins, but we did get one new enemy type, which is cool. It didn't have the hang glider as well, so that's just automatically an improvement. And the final boss is possibly the best thing I've ever seen. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'll give you some context as to why it's funny. So to market Sunset Overdrive, Insomniac spokesperson at the time, Brandon Winfrey, who looks like a budget Brad Pitt apparently, created and released multiple videos to advertise and explain the game. You can even watch them in-game. Most people didn't watch them, and well, let's just say he's connected to the final boss. That's all I'm gonna say. I think when you play it, you'll know. They did also release some cosmetics and weapons, but who really cares? Overall, the DLC was some huge whiplash. Moo Oil Rig, that's a really hard word to say, was at best okay, and at worst, a slog. But something machines was actually really good. It's not like Dishonored levels of DLC or anything, but it's a good note to send the game off on. I don't even know why I'm saying this like it matters, because for the PC release, everything just comes like pre-installed. DLC, weapons, everything. So, let's give this game a conclusion and... Oh, actually no, I gotta talk about something real quick. Blind Squirrel. I don't know why I'm saying that like you guys are actually listening, but I don't care. Blind Squirrel. Learn to port a fucking game! Oh boy. Yeah, that's right lads, it's another fucking Baltimore round, let's go. Because that went so well in the roguelike one, it's not like that added a good 7 minutes onto the runtime because I just wouldn't shut the fuck... It's a Baltimore round. Blind Squirrel. It's a company that exclusively works on porting collections. They have exclusively done that, and let's be honest, most people know them for the Sonic Colors Ultimate. And that was just something else entirely. I don't even know how to explain it. Well, it just so happens that the PC port for Sunset Overdrive was, you guessed it, ported by them. From what I've seen, everything they ported or made is a buggy, almost unplayable mess. I'm not gonna act like I know shit about porting. Hell, I don't know like the first thing about programming. But, seriously. Guys, for a company that has apparently 120 plus employees, how the fuck do you port shit this badly? And I know with Sonic Colors Ultimate there was some new gameplay elements, but the game was almost unplayable at launch, especially for Switch players. Fucking sucks to be you, bitch. So with that, you'd expect me to say this is a buggy, unplayable mess. And in fact, it isn't. It's one of the worst optimized games I've ever seen. For PC, on console it's fine because Blind Squirrel had no fucking involvement. Like, genuinely, I shit you not. This video, I had to use my friend bubbleteas footage. Thanks Bubbletea, you are a fucking lifesaver by the way. Because my OBS could not fucking run this game. Like, it was that laggy. It looked like I was running on a fucking laptop. Like, look, I'm gonna show you my RAM on screen right now, dude. That RAM usage never went below fucking 40%. It glitched the shit out of my OBS. Like, I could not, like, play it. It was unplayable. Not only was it, like, unwatchable, it lagged my game as well. OBS has never done that before. Even with Cyberpunk, I could still at least play the game. Like, yeah, I know OBS is gonna ruin the frames a bit, but it goes from running at, like, a nice solid 45, 60 frames to maybe 10. Maybe 10 if I'm lucky. That's, like, how unplayable using OBS goes. And I can't play on Xbox because I broke my Xbox God knows how long ago. I was forced to play the PC port, and it was playable, but it got really annoying. It was stuttery, it was choppy, and I'm not gonna act like I have got like a beef PC, because I do not. This PC is fucking old, it's dusty as shit, but it can still run most things perfectly fine. It should be able to run a game from 2014. But yeah, that is the year it was made. Yeah, I know, my PC is almost 10 years old, fucking fight me. Like, it should be able to run a game from 2014, the year it was made, with like, it has good specs for 2014, so like, it should be able to at least run Sunset Overdrive at medium settings as well, but it just can't. Word of advice, if you want to get this game, get on Xbox. Hell, I think it's even on Game Pass, so you don't really have anything to lose. And if you're on Switch or PlayStation, tough luck, I guess. The PC port of this game isn't buggy, I can still play it, but god, it makes my OBS kill itself, and I just, it makes me, well, okay, it doesn't make me want to kill myself, I'm not going to go that far for a game, but it makes me want to not play the game. Like, it's genuinely that bad. I don't know if I'm the only one who has that problem, but for me, like, it was awful. Even when I ran it on, like, the lowest settings, I genuinely could not record it, because it looked like a fucking PowerPoint. It looked like some Microsoft PowerPoint shit. And just in case you don't believe me, I have proof. I have a video. I'm going to show you guys what it looked like when I tried to record it from my end, because I did play this game, believe it or not. That's why I'm doing a review of it. But, oh god. Yeah, just don't get the PC port. I think that's like the word of advice for the day. Hello, this is George coming at you from the future. I also neglected to mention the fact that I tried to use like screen recording software to record this game, and it still didn't work. Like, I went on to the Microsoft store to download like a web capture, and it didn't work. Like, even the web capture didn't work. That's like some crappy web capture that was probably made in like a third world country. Even that did not work. Like, this game genuinely could not be recorded, and I do not know why. It might be something with my PC. Sunset Overdrive might just be the black sheep that I can't record for some reason. But again, considering how much of like my memory and RAM and shit this thing used, I'm gonna take a huge guess and assume it's because of how just badly optimized it was is why I couldn't record it. Just taking a huge guess in that assumption. Yeah, seriously, like, I could not record this game. I had to like install crappy web capture tools, and it still did not work. And one final thing before we conclude the video. I like to have a quick word. Holy shit. As of now, the roguelike review is sitting on an impressive 358 views, I'm pretty sure. It's probably going to change when this video comes out. But yeah, right now it's like above 350, and that is just... holy shit. It got 100 views in the first day as well, which I know that is like nothing, but... it's something for me, yeah. It has 18 likes, 14 comments, and it got me 5 subscribers. Again, at this moment, it's probably gonna have changed since then, so I don't want any smartasses like, no, it's actually on like 360 actually. But like, as of now, that's like the stats. I went from having 12 subscribers to having 19, and most of my videos couldn't even break 50 views. So having that many eyes on me, it's like, it's surreal. I didn't even go into 4 digits, but like, it still felt so surreal. That is the most views I've ever had on a video by a long shot. My second closest one was the first video I ever made for my old channel, The Kush Corner. And the only reason it got that many views is because I spammed in a bunch of Discords, which like, I really regret doing that now. Yeah, no, like, it's insane. And for people coming back purely from the roguelike video, sorry that the rest of my content was like nowhere near as good. Like, this is just a message to newcomers and people who like might be interested in my content. The only videos I've made similar to this was the roguelike one, which if you've not watched that one, watch it, it's an absolute banger. And the only other ones I've done besides that is a Battlefield one, which is still unfortunately up, and it's awful. I genuinely regret doing that. And the Deathloop one, which honestly, I didn't think it was that bad, but I don't even remember why I deleted it now, but I just did. It's lost to the sands of time, and I will never see that video again, probably. And I've also divided my channel up into sections. Videos like this, I'm going to dub as effort. And then there's the garbage section, which is just a bunch of dumb videos where it's just me and my friends dicking around that really only meant to just make you get a few gigglies, like the like that. And finally, there's the loose change section, which is just anything miscellaneous, so memes or some scrap stuff, or that cucumber video that I posted as a college project, because I'm a fucking idiot. Oh, and the old times as well, which is my old videos, which has that first video I was talking about. And god, I hate that playlist. Anybody who looks at that playlist is going to be hunted down in silence. There is no joke, there is no meme. I also wanted to promote some stuff. Not an actual sponsored, like, dear god, no. You think I have enough internet clout for that shit? Fucking god, no. This video was edited by my good friend Bubbletea. Hi Bubbletea, you can put whatever you want on screen. And I also have another editor friend, Brooke. They both edit shit for me. They're both pretty cool beans. You should check that shit out. Bubbletea, feel free to plug your shit right now. You've got my seal of approval. Another thanks to Bubbletea as well for also reading through my script. Like, she like gave me suggestions. This was actually going to be near the beginning of the video, but she was like, hey yo, dumbass, put it near the end. And thanks to my friend Luke as well, who's a little poopy pants boy and doesn't actually have a YouTube channel, but I thought I'd give him a thanks as well. He also reads through my scripts. Thanks to my friend Jupiter for drawing thumbnails. And check out my friend Ryan as well, who has his own channel called Psycho, and our joint channel, The Basement Dwellers, which has an astounding 1 video that we posted 2 months ago. And the Z is important when we put Basement Dwellers, by the way. Everybody I just mentioned, you should give your time, attention, and a sub/follow if you're feeling generous. And all the socials will be linked down below, so I hope you enjoy those. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel, only if you like the content. Check out my second channel, Mobile, who definitely isn't my twin brother. And if you want the 13th reason why, you can check out my Twitter and Discord. All these links will be down below, again, like I just said. So check that out if you're interested, I guess. And no, well, I guess that's it. I enjoyed this video. I enjoyed playing this game again. And this video was kind of a different format. Last time I felt like I tried to be a bit too, like, formal. So this time I was kind of a bit more, you know, loose, you know, I've been swearing a bit more. I've been swearing a bit more. Like, I don't know, I've been kind of talking a bit more relaxed, more chill, more mellow, words like that. So, I don't know, this is more kind of like a free form. I don't know how it's going to turn out. Like, I'm just kind of throwing shit at the wall until something sticks, really. So I'm gonna see like which style I prefer, this one or the one from the roguelike video. I guess we'll find out, because this video is probably gonna end out feeling really different from the roguelike one. I mean, not just because I'm playing a different game, like a completely different kind. But yeah, no, this one was meant to be like more of a freeform one, and I am just going on a huge fucking tangent now. Okay, Sunset Overdrive is not absolute perfection. However, it's definitely the next best thing. It's a fast, fluid shooter with lots to do, a good variety of gameplay styles, great aesthetic, great direction, great characters, great humor. It's oozing with charm. It's got a god tier soundtrack that's on par with games I mentioned today, that being Doom Eternal, Pro Hawk Skater, and Ultra Kill. And by God, my boy Reggie's in this game. If you don't already have this game, what the fuck are you doing with your life? If you do have it, then go play it or replay it if you've already been in the game. If you're watching this video while playing the game, then what's the point of watching this? Sunset Overdrive is a great game that deserves all the praise it gets, and then some. And I'm still waiting for my sequel, Insomniac. You can't ignore me forever, bitch.
I found the source of the ticking! It's a pipe bomb! Yeah!